Now let us continue to section 4 for the Lab 3 OSI model TCP utilities. We're going to discuss displaying network connections. NetStat, or Network Statistics, is a command line tool that displays active TCP connections, both incoming and outgoing, as well as other network statistics. When used with the appropriate command switches, it is also display ports on which the computer is listening, the IP routing table, Ethernet, and IP statistics. The utility is available in both Windows and Linux. Lesson 4.1, Displaying Network Connections using the CLI. The first step reminds us to make sure we are logged into the Windows 2K8R2 internal 1 virtual machine and the Backtrack 5 internal virtual machine. So if you are not already logged in, please log in now. On the Windows 2K8R2 internal 1 virtual machine, running the NetStat command in Windows without any switches defaults to displaying only active connections. As such, running this command on the Windows machine will probably not display any information. Therefore, we need to determine what command switches are available to us to display usable information. Type netstat space / into the command prompt and hit enter. Review the output to examine the function of various switches to list all TCP ports that are listening state. Type netstat-a-p TCP. Netstat A and P. NETSTAT space -A space -P space TCP. The -A command switch displays all connections and listening ports. The -P TCP command switch displays just those ports associated with the TCP protocol. This also helps make the output of the command more reasonable. The first column is the protocol. The second is the socket, or IP address and port number combination, that the computer is listening on. The third column lists the remote machine of established connections. In this case, it is the local machine since it is listening. The fourth column is the state of the connection. The listening state means the machine is ready to accept all connection, while the established state means the connection is active. Notice specifically the line with the local address of 192.168.12.10:53. Remember from the previous task that port 53 was the well-known port number assigned to DNS. Therefore, we conclude that this machine must be a DNS server, as it is listening for requests on this port. To establish a connection, we need to generate some network traffic. The easiest way to do this is by opening a web page. Leave the command prompt open and open a browser window by clicking Start and Internet Explorer. In the address bar, type www. If you do have a prompt for setting up Windows Internet Explorer 8, go ahead and select Ask Me Later. Now back at entering in the web address we need to enter in. In the address bar, type www.isp.com and then hit enter. This is the web server running on the W2K8R2 external machine. Next, leave the Internet Explorer window open and click on the command prompt window and type the command netstat and press enter. Now, if your window is covering the command prompt the way mine is, just look to the bottom and on the taskbar you'll see the command prompt listed. If you click on that, it'll bring it open and in front of the Windows Internet Explorer window. Here is where we will enter netstat and then hit enter. The command now displays the one active HTTP connection. Note that the port number attached to the local address is randomly generated and may vary from the figure. To display the FQDN of the remote server, type the command netstat space -f and press enter. To display the IP address of the remote server, type the command netstat space -n and press enter. Now, to display Ethernet statistics, type the command netstat space -e and hit enter. The output of this command is useful to see if errors are occurring on connections. To display statistics about other protocols, type the command netstat-s, which is actually netstat space -s, and hit enter. Scrolling up through the output reveals that this command gives statistics for several protocols: IP, ICMP, TCP, and UDP. Protocol statistics can be viewed individually by specifying the protocol in the command. For example, TCP statistics can be viewed by typing the command netstat-s-p TCP. Do not forget to place the spaces between each of those switches. Netstat space -s space -p space TCP and hit enter. Now we're going to move on to the Linux. The netstat command in Linux can be used to display much of the same information. Some of the command switches are even the same from Windows to Linux. Compare the available switches on the Backtrack 5 internal machine by typing the command stat space --help into the terminal window and press enter. Much of the same information can be obtained, but a different switch may need to be used. Question 1. What are some of the command swatches that are the same between Windows and Linux? So we have a -r that displays the routing table, and also on Linux we have a -r that also displays the routing table. That's at least one of them. To display a list of listening sockets in Linux, type netstat space -l into the terminal window and press enter. And go back to the end of the terminal. and we're going to type out NETSTAT space -L and hit enter. The output of the command lists two connection types: active Internet connections and active Unix domain sockets. Active Internet connections are the ports listening for external connections to the machine. Active Unix domain sockets are connections between applications on the same machine. They also support features not found in TCP IP, hence the need for their own connection type. To display protocol statistics, type the command netstat space -S into the terminal window and press enter. Scroll up through the output reveals that this command gives statistics for several protocols such as IP, ICMP, TCP, and UDP. Now, keep all windows open to continue to the next section. But in conclusion, netstat or network statistics is a command line tool that displays active TCP connections, both incoming and outgoing, as well as other network statistics. When used in the appropriate command switches, it also displays ports on which the computer is listening, the IP router table, Ethernet, and IP statistics. This utility is available in both Windows and Linux. Now let's go over some review questions. Number 1. What command is used to display connection information in Windows and Linux? This would be the netstat command. Number 2. What is at least one of the command switches for the above command that is the same between Windows and Linux, and what function does it perform? We briefly checked it over and noticed that the -R switch for the routing table was the same command that you can use in Linux. If a connection has been made to an available port, what state is that connection in? Well, that state would be active. This concludes Lesson 4.